He said something that I think is one of the most honest things any elite athlete has ever said about what actually determines performance. He said, "Football is probably 95% your mentality. That gives you the baseline to perform. There are a lot of players that have ability. That is why they play at the top level. But what sets them apart is the mentality. I have been on both sides of it. I understand the strength of it and the value. He has been on both sides of it." That last sentence is the one that matters most, because Rashford is not speaking theoretically about the importance of mentality. He is speaking from the specific personal experience of someone who had it, lost it, and had to fight to get it back. And what that fight looked like, and what it produced, is one of the most powerful psychology lessons in modern football. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to PsyWealth, Richie. Today we are covering someone whose story has more psychological layers than almost anyone else we have covered on this channel. Marcus Rashford. Not the goals, the mind. The specific journey from child poverty to Premier League star to public fall to comeback, and what each stage of that journey teaches about the real architecture of mental strength. If you are new here, subscribe. Now let's get into it. Marcus Rashford was born on October 31st, 1997 in Wythenshawe, one of the most economically deprived areas of Manchester. He grew up in genuine poverty. He has spoken openly about going to school hungry, about his mother working multiple jobs to keep the family together, about the specific weight of growing up in a household where money was a constant source of stress and uncertainty. He joined Manchester United's academy at age 7, and from the very beginning, the people inside that system recognized something extraordinary, not just in his feet, in his hunger, the kind that comes from knowing exactly what you are running from as well as what you are running toward. He made his first team debut at 18 years old, scoring twice against Midtjylland in the Europa League in a match he was not even supposed to play. He was only there because Anthony Martial got injured in the warm-up. He had not even trained with the first team that week, and he scored twice. That debut, that spontaneous, unprepared, completely natural explosion of ability in the biggest moment of his young life told everyone who watched it exactly what kind of mind Marcus Rashford had, the kind that gets bigger when the stage gets bigger. Here is where Rashford's story becomes genuinely instructive from a psychological perspective, because the fall, when it came, was real and public and significant. After the extraordinary high of his debut in his early career, after becoming one of the most exciting young forwards in Europe, the decline was visible and sustained. Form dropped. Performances became inconsistent. The confidence that had made him look unstoppable began to visibly erode. He dealt with a significant shoulder injury that he played through for an extended period, longer than almost anyone outside the club knew. He said, "I don't think anyone apart from the people at the club knows how long I was dealing with those injury issues. It was not just one season. It was a period of time where every day was tough, and you have to sacrifice yourself. Playing through that level of physical pain while trying to maintain the kind of explosive performance that his game requires produced a psychological cost that eventually became visible in his output. And then in 2023, things got worse publicly. Performances that drew criticism, a period away from the club. Headlines questioning his commitment, his lifestyle, his future. The narrative around him shifted from promising young star to cautionary tale, and the whole world seemed to have an opinion about what had gone wrong. Here is something I want to say clearly about what Rashford went through during that period. Public failure, the specific experience of declining performance being witnessed and commented on by millions of people simultaneously, is one of the most psychologically challenging experiences a human being can face, because it combines two of the most difficult psychological experiences simultaneously: the internal experience of not performing at the level you know you are capable of, and the external experience of that gap being publicly visible and publicly discussed. Most people only ever face one of those at a time. Rashford faced both, every week, for an extended period. And here's what that does psychologically if you are not careful. It creates a feedback loop. The public commentary about your decline, the criticism, the comparison to who you used to be, the speculation about what is wrong enters your awareness and becomes part of the internal noise you have to perform through. The very act of the world watching you fail makes it harder to stop failing, because the mental bandwidth that should be going into the performance is going into managing the awareness of being watched while failing. Rashford said, "I have been on both sides of it. I understand the strength of it and the value. That understanding, that direct personal knowledge of what it feels like to lose the mentality and what it costs is what makes his comeback story genuinely different from a simple bounce-back narrative." Here is what Rashford said about how he rebuilt his mental strength. He said, "I am concentrating a lot more on keeping myself in that headspace, and it is needed in order to win games and trophies." That phrase, "keeping myself in that headspace," reveals something important. He is not describing the mentality as something that came back naturally. He is describing it as something he actively maintains, something he concentrates on, something that requires deliberate, ongoing effort to sustain. Most people think of mental strength as a fixed trait. Either you have it or you don't. Rashford's experience proves it is a practice, a daily discipline, a headspace that you choose to be in, consistently, deliberately, even on the days when everything around you is making it difficult to stay there. He also said, "I have always been one to be out on the pitch as much as I can. That is where I get the happiness." That connection between the pure love of the activity itself and the mental strength to perform it at the highest level is what his comeback was built on. Getting back to the pitch, getting back to the thing that produces genuine happiness, and letting that happiness rebuild the headspace that the injuries and the criticism had eroded. Here is the dimension of Rashford's story that I think makes him genuinely unique. Among the footballers we have covered on this channel, he said, "I will encounter things designed to try to break my spirit. Things that try to make me feel as if I do not belong because of the color of my skin. That is wrong. And I will do whatever I can for as long as I can to stop it. Not just for myself, but for other people like me too." That statement made after he and other England players received racist abuse following the Euro 2020 final reveals a psychological depth that goes far beyond sport. And his advocacy extends further than speaking out against racism. He ran a campaign that forced the UK government to extend free school meals for children during the pandemic. He wrote books for young people about dreaming big and finding your voice. He used his platform consistently and at personal cost to fight for children who are growing up the way he grew up, hungry, uncertain, wondering if anyone with power actually sees them. Rashford sees them, because he was one of them. And that connection between where he came from and what he chooses to do with where he has arrived is the most powerful thing about his psychology. And now I want to speak directly to you, because I think Rashford's story carries something that every single person watching this genuinely needs right now. Most of us have experienced some version of the fall, a period where the performance didn't match the potential, where the gap between who we know we can be and who we are currently being was visible to people we respect. And in that gap, the public commentary arrived. The opinions, the comparisons to who we used to be, the speculation about what went wrong, and that commentary made the gap harder to close, because mental bandwidth that should go into the comeback went into managing the awareness of being watched while struggling. Rashford's lesson is clear and direct. Football is 95% mentality, and mentality is not a gift. It is a practice, a headspace you choose to maintain, actively, deliberately, every single day, even when the world is watching you struggle, even when the criticism is loudest, even when the gap between your potential and your current performance feels largest. Get back to what makes you happy. Get back to the activity itself, not the recognition it produces, not the results it delivers, but the genuine happiness of doing it. And concentrate deliberately, consistently on keeping yourself in the headspace that produces your best, not because it is easy, but because it is the only thing that actually works. Marcus Rashford grew up hungry in Wythenshawe, scored twice on his debut at 18, fought through injuries that nobody outside the club knew about, experienced a public fall that the whole world had opinions about, campaigned for children, going hungry the way he once went hungry, and came back, not because the circumstances got easier, but because he understood from being on both sides of it that mentality is the 95% that everything else is built on. And he chose to rebuild it, deliberately, daily, one headspace decision at a time. That is the comeback psychology, and it is available to every single person watching this who is currently in their own difficult period. Get back to what makes you happy. Concentrate on keeping yourself in the headspace. And remember, the mentality is never gone permanently. It is just waiting for you to choose it again. Subscribe to PsyWealth Richie. Share this with someone who needs to know their comeback is still possible. We will see you in the next one.